Good afternoon, and thanks for joining us for today's brand new Healthline 3. I'm Courtney Butts, and Healthline 3 is where we like to focus on ways to live a healthier, happier, and pain-free life. In just a couple of minutes, we'll be opening the phone lines to answer any questions that you have. And the number to call is 318-219-4569. If you are tuning in on and maybe watching on your TV, we do ask that you turn your TV all the way down so that we can hear your question. That phone number will be on your screen once those phone lines are open. But today's topic is all about weight loss and wellness. We're in the thick of summer, and it's a great time to focus or refocus if you've been on vacation, maybe if your goal is weight loss or just in general wellness. And joining us today is our friends with Shed It Weight Loss and Wellness, Irina Haskatis, co-owner with Shed It, and Catherine Schaefer, physician assistant with Shed It as well. But today we also have a very special guest. You may recognize her, but Irina, I want you to introduce us to her.
So this is Tess with Prep Cakes. It's a local low-carb bakery.
Nice. Yes, thanks for being here, Tess.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, and like you've mentioned, you've been on KTBS before, maybe with Rick Rowe, and showed off your local business. And one thing that we love here at KTBS, since we are right by Prep Cakes, is we actually, a lot of us frequent the Prep Cakes. So we love what you're doing here in our community. But first, tell us a little bit about Prep Cakes and how it got started in our community.
Okay, well, my name's Tess, and I am a chef of almost 30 years. It was one of my jobs in the Air Force. And we also ran the fitness centers, taught fitness classes, did all the nutrition. So kind of a jack of all trades. And at one point towards the end of my career, I decided I want to do a bodybuilding competition. And so I did it, but in the bodybuilding competition, I could have no sugar. And so I decided to make my own recipes with no sugar. And if you know, I know you do know that sugar-free alternatives were not popular 10 years ago.
Right.
So I really don't know how I was able to do it unless it was just God's gift. But it just started it all out. And once I created my proprietary protein blend that was easily bakeable, I was then able to put it in all kinds of different products. And then what I did is I noticed that a lot of people really don't understand macronutrients and the importance of them. And so they look to diets, and that's kind of like their goal line to follow. And I get that and respect that. And so what I did is I started making desserts that would fit into people's diets, so there wasn't questions about it. I did the work for you. I put the label on it that it was keto, or it was, you know, a protein diet, carnivore, and then they could trust that process already.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, so you're helping people in the area if they have specific, diet needs, and everybody's on a diet. I feel like, especially right now, like they went on a vacation, and now they're maybe wanting to get back to, prepping for their dream body. I think that just because summer's already here doesn't mean that people aren't worried about that. So, so how did maybe Shed It and Prep Cakes, how did you guys marry this partnership together?
I mean, because it really makes sense.
It does.
At Shed It, we see our medication as a tool that is not a magic fix, and a tool that also does not replace healthier eating habits. So we try to create those healthier lifestyle habits while our patients are on our program, meaning healthier nutrition and some kind of movement, whatever that is. So it makes sense to have a partnership with a place like Prep Cakes, because they already took out all the guesswork of food intake. So, and I think this is a perfect fit.
I love it. Yes. Yeah. So we were talking about the medications that you offer. Catherine, you're the physician assistant, the kind of the medical expert that we have for Healthline. We've had you guys on several times, but for those that don't know what specifically medications you offer, what are those?
We offer the GLP injections, semaglutide, tirzepatide, and most recently retatrutide. That is, has kind of taken the world by storm, but basically helps with appetite control, helps with less cravings. It helps by better regulating your blood sugar, which was how they originated. So anyway, we offer the medication, which like Irina said is a tool, and then in conjunction with, movement, lifestyle, and then just better nutrition.
Gotcha. Okay, the last one. What was the last one that you mentioned?
Retatrutide. So it is a newer option. It actually works on 3 of the GLP receptor sites, the GLP, GIP, and glucagon. So it's pretty up and coming, pretty new still, but I'm excited to see where that goes.
Yeah. I think this is the first time we've talked about it on Healthline. So this is brand new to your practice.
Brand new.
Okay. How and so it's different because it's working on the 3. Tirzepatide works on the 2, right? And semaglutide just works on 1.
Yes.
So I'm assuming the say it one more time.
Retatrutide.
I'm just gonna let you say it, okay?
Ratatouille.
Right.
That's what I think of when you say it.
Yes, the triple threat, we'll call it.
Yeah.
So how does that, are you seeing better weight loss results with that one, like you were with the tirzepatide?
Yeah, we've seen great results. Either people that have plateaued on the tirzepatide, or we just feel like we need to change something up, and so people seem to really feel like it helps with appetite control, which is kind of less of that food noise or that craving, and then people have had pretty minimal side effects with it too, so that's exciting.
Very interesting. Okay, yeah, well, we definitely will hopefully learn a little bit more about this new drug, as you're seeing it with your patients as well.
As we get more experience, yes.
Yeah. Okay, great. So Tess, tell us, you said you got your start as a chef 30 years ago, and then, but you did mention in our midday newscast that it all started with your prep cake. So tell me what that is.
It did. So my local gym here, when I first moved here, because the Air Force, this was my last duty station before I retired. And so I would go to Anytime Fitness over by Jamestown Apartments. It's still my favorite gym. But it was like a family there. And anyways, I couldn't have any sweets, but my coach, David Wynn, was amazing. And he trusted my process as well. And he fed us very well. And so he allowed me to create this recipe that I could intake during my prep for bodybuilding. And it was so cute when I was making it, because it took me a few months. And I have to actually say, nothing bunk cakes really pushed me to it, because I had one of those in the South, and I was like, if anybody can recreate this healthy, it's me. And so it started out being that, and then I was like, I can't even eat this because I'm in prep. And so I was like, let me make my own cupcake. So I would go to the gym, and I'm like shoving it down people's throats for a few months. And they would give me their feedback, and then finally one day, one of the guys was like, you got it. And the next day, I went and I made business cards, and I just started the business. And like I said, I just created that blend. And then once that blend came out, I used to be very macro focused. And I realized that I was missing out on 99.9% of the nation. I was trying to sell this sugar-free protein will fit for any bodybuilding to a bunch of coaches that really don't trust anybody. And that's okay, because you're competing physically, you know? It's not the best body contest, it's a bodybuilding contest. And so I was able to do that, and I was like, I'm missing out on a whole nation that needs this. And so I kind of took my focus away from trying to build a piece of cheesecake that, amounted to 4 ounces of white breasts, chicken breasts, and a third of a cup of rice and a cup of green beans.
Right.
And I was like, these people just want sweets that are good for you. That's it. And so that's when I started to focus more on the diets or just create it. And then we have some specialty items that people will say, what are the calories? What are the macros? And I'm like, just eat it. Like, because it's, it's safe, it's healthy. You know me, I'm a real person. You can come talk to me about it. And I think that it has to be a lifestyle, and you can't live on a diet for the rest of your life. You just have to figure out how to eat healthy. And with the medications that are now available, what is the maintenance that these patrons are using afterwards? If they just go right back to their habits of what they were eating, they've just lost out on all the benefits and the money that they've put into it, and time. And we all know that we don't have much time anymore.
Yeah.
We're busy.
That's so true, and what a cool perspective, coming from you being in the bodybuilding sphere, because that's, for those that don't know, can you talk about how restrictive that can be?
It can be very restrictive. So, excuse me. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I had a couple of coaches.
Yeah.
I had coaches that, my original coaches, where if it was not on their meal plan, it was not allowed. It was very restrictive. I licked oatmeal off microwave plates, that round thing inside of it, simply because it overflowed. That's how much I wanted food that bad. Now, they weren't starving me, but when your metabolism starts to get high, you look forward to every meal every 3 to 4 hours. But it was a very restrictive diet. I was also doing 60 minutes of cardio 4 days a week, 90 minutes of cardio 3 days a week. Oof. I did cardio 7 days a week, and then I would do an hour of body or weightlifting at least 5 days a week. It got me to where I was, but I don't think that that is really realistic in a sense. It depends on what your goals are.
Yeah.
So my coach here, he was a lot more flexible. He fed us a lot, but we also got treats. So I would get 2 cheat meals a week, maybe. And it wasn't cheat days. There's no such thing as that, you know, not when you're trying to lose weight. But it would be a cheat meal. So if I wanted a cheeseburger with fries, I got my cheeseburger and fries. So I never felt like I was missing out on something. But I also love to eat very healthy too. So I could eat ground turkey and rice every day. Like, it's just maybe the bodybuilding kind of turned me on to that with the meal prep. But then my last coach that I had for a little bit, she was an Olympic lady. So she had made the pros. Actually, I don't think she went to Olympia, but she made the pros. And her meal plan was very hard, and her workouts were so hard. And I just remember being like, I was in the gym 3 hours a day. And, you know, and I'm like, I can't do this. And she was like, is it hard? And I'm like, yeah. And she was like, well, that's the difference between NPC and a pro. And I was like, well, maybe I just don't want to be a pro. I want to eat. So, yeah.
Okay. And so, and obviously, if someone is trying to attempt to become a bodybuilder, you need a coach or somebody that you trust to be on your team, because it's very difficult to do on your own.
Yeah,
right?
I think that people need to remember that it's a competitive sport. If you just want the encouragement and you want to lose weight and get to the best body you want to be, then just get a personal trainer.
Yeah.
A lot of us use the bodybuilding world because it kind of keeps us really straight and focused, but it's a competitive sport, and so not all coaches are going to coddle you. You know, they're going to be kind of harsh because you have an expectation. You need them to be harsh.
Yeah.
But I think that both ways are great ways. Bodybuilding was amazing. I met most of my best friends from that world. They were all on my team. They're still my best friends to this day. I just think that it's a great sport, and if you have the right coach, you'll never be hungry. And when you are hungry, it's just because your metabolism is so high. Yeah, so I don't think you have to live without. There are times that you do. So maybe if you're 6 weeks out or something like that, it's like, okay, it's time to cut. But you're training for a marathon to run, you know, in a sense. So like, it's time to focus at times. It's not just a lifestyle.
Right. Yeah. It's a sacrifice, and it's not going to be forever. So.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay. So you have, I'm assuming you're helping so many people in the community, but how do you have a lot of people from Shed It patients that you know of that come and you know, participate in what Prep Cakes has to offer too?
Yes, yeah, we have some mutual friends that have come in, and I met our physician assistant over here, 2 weeks ago, right? They came in, and then she got some bread for her dad, because we do make our breads. We use a low-carb flour. It has a grapeseed extract in it, enzyme, so it cuts the carbs in it. It's a carb blocker. But what we've found is people are losing weight from it. It's a wheat flour, and they're still losing weight from this wheat flour because the carb blockers inside of it. So we've expanded our menu. Like, we have a full breakfast and lunch menu as well. We do sandwiches, as you know. I've also launched a new campaign called Recipe Me, where I'm actually recreating customers' recipes that they send in, so they can learn how to make grandma's apple cobbler healthy.
Oh, that's cool. So how does somebody get involved with that?
All they have to do is follow our Facebook page on Prep Cakes. Eventually, I'm sure apps and all that stuff will come. I have my future rolling right now. So, but Recipe Me is part of my my future as well. I'm pursuing my doctorate in philosophy of psychology with substance and trauma addictions. And I really want to write these cookbook series on addressing people's ailments and teaching people how to heal themselves through their foods that they eat.
Very cool. Love that. Yeah, and so many people could benefit from that here in our community. So going back to Shed It, so you know, we have the medications, but I always love that you use the term a tool. You know, it's a tool. And so how do you guys work at Shed It with making sure that that is reinforced and that people don't become reliant on the GLP-1 medications?
So we have very open open talks with our patients once they come in. As I said, we are very transparent that this medication will help them while they're on it. Excuse me. Now I'm having the same bug.
Pass it to you.
So that they still need to put some work in.
Right.
Like these are the lifestyle changes. And then of course everybody comes with different goals. Like some people want to lose weight for a wedding or something, but some people just want to get healthier in general. So everybody gets their individual plan, treatment plan. And then since we would like our patients to check in every month, this is when they sit down with Catherine, talk about how the last month went, if they have any side effects, if the medication, the dosage need to be adjusted. And this is how you go. The closer they get to their goal, we actually call it exit strategy. So we are already, like while they're on the medication, we're already thinking about how to slowly wean off.
Right.
And this also looks different for everybody. So we have those nutrition seminars with Glow Alchemy Kitchen that will help our patients, and also several meal prep services that they can take advantage of, or also now prep cakes. And we have referral partners for exercise. Like, as I said, not everybody is a gym person, but we tell patients that, just incorporating some walks or hiking or kayaking or swimming or just playing with the kids in the yard. Like every little step counts. So this is how we address the lifestyle changes that need to happen.
Yeah.
And for the majority of our patients, it really, really, really works well.
Love it. Yes. Well, if you're just joining us, we have Shed It Weight Loss and Wellness with us, and Prep Cakes, Tess with Prep Cakes with us today for Healthline. And if you have a question for anybody that we have here today, Irina, Tess, or Catherine, give us a call. That number is 318-219-4569. We're talking about the GLP-1 medications, but we're also talking about Prep Cakes and how this partnership has come about. So if you have any questions about weight loss or general wellness, just give us a call. That number is right there on your screen. So, we always talk about it's a lifestyle change, and the thing that makes Shed It different is that you're not just writing a prescription and saying, have good luck, you're also meeting with them where they're at. So I know, Catherine, you're very involved in that process and sitting down with the patient. So take us through that process and what they can expect if they're interested.
Yeah, so if anyone wants to come see us, we have a new patient consultation, as that is where we sit down, we discuss medical history, we discuss current medications that they're on, and then we talk about their weight loss goal. And then part of that looks, like setting a realistic goal for weight loss in a certain amount of time. Then we also discuss kind of what their nutrition baseline is, their exercise baseline, and then as we follow up month to month, we sit down and see, progress that we made, if we had any issue or symptoms with the medication, and then, every month I touch base and see, how much, we think we're getting good protein, do we think we're drinking good amounts of water, what did our exercise look like for the month. So, it's not just sit down once and never talk about it again. It comes up month to month to be sure that we are having that follow through, because that's the most successful way for people to lose weight, is to incorporate some of those, lifestyle changes, but then also to get off of these GLP medications. We really, really have to have those new habits in place. And so that's where, we try to talk about that. Like I said, month to month, I have people that tell me, I heard you in my head, have you had water today? Or have you, been exercising? I'm like, my bad.
No, that's great. Yeah, that's great for people to really, it's about mindfulness, I think, too, creating an awareness of what you're doing so that you know what to change. Because if you don't know what you're eating every day, or you don't know what your habits are, it's hard to change those things. It's like you don't know what you don't know. And then once you do know, you're like, wow, I can't go back. So, okay, so Tess, with Prep Cakes, I think the biggest question that everybody wants to know is that, you've got your recipes and they're healthy, but how do you also make them taste good? How do you make them something that people want to keep coming back for?
Yeah, I give that glory to God, honestly. No, I have a very refined palate, and I truly enjoy great tasting things. I love food, and it should taste good. And if I want a piece of lemon pie, I shouldn't have to settle for, as you guys were talking about earlier, a lemon pie protein bar that the marketing sells you when you see it, because you just want a piece of that lemon pie. No, I want lemon pie. And it's possible, and that's really my goal, is to show people that healthy does not have to taste bad. Unfortunately, it has in the past, but we're growing and a lot more people are becoming a lot more health conscious. You can see the shift in America happening. And so like when I first started out, like I said, it was macro-based meals, right? But it was sugar-free. So the premise of the bakery is always sugar-free. Of course, sprinkles or a half a cookie, that's not gonna hurt you. You can eat an Oreo and be okay. It's when you eat a line of Oreos, you know? And so it's about teaching people that like it's really the sugar, because as we know, when it converts into our bodies, it turns into the glucose and a carb, and then you're storing it, which is energy. So like not all sugars are bad, but if you're gonna have sugar, at least try to use a coconut sugar or something like that, because sometimes these alternative sweeteners aren't great for people either. And I'm kind of getting into that boat now where I'm like, I don't know if I really like this sugar-free thing anymore. You know, like I would rather be maybe a little bit more natural and be using the coconut sugars and things that our body knows how to process, instead of just reading a nutrition label and being like, this is good because it says 0. You know? Yeah.
But then the list of ingredients is long.
I would rather just go back to the core ingredients that we need. Like, why does pasta have riboflavin in it and all these things? Like, pasta is literally eggs, flour, and oil. That's it. And a little bit of water. Like, that's what should be in your pasta.
Right.
And all that other stuff we don't need. And the bad thing is our, excuse me, our bodies can't process it. And I actually heard a study by Mindy Peltz. She's a great podcaster.
Oh, I love her.
I love her, right? And she was talking about in England how the kids are getting obese. And it's because of the foods. And we've lived in, she's from Europe, I've lived in Europe. And the foods are not like our foods. Like the back of 2 Pop-Tarts boxes, a European Pop-Tarts and ours, both Kellogg's, totally different ingredients, because Europeans, it's not allowed.
Right.
You need a chemistry degree to identify everything.
But these things are slipping in some of the countries, and it's changing the children's DNA makeup and how they store fat. And they're actually gaining weight now because of all these alternatives that we're eating, instead of just eating what I call God's food. If God made it, you can eat it. Rice is not bad for you. You know,
it's always been the excess. You know,
yeah,
the
it's the excess of it. And I tell people that too, especially on diets, is, will it work? Yeah. Will you plateau? Yes. You know, it's what our bodies do. We have to talk to our bodies talk to us. And if you put your body in an unsafe situation, your body is going to start to store fat, because the way it knows from our caveman days is, I might not eat. It's a famine. And so it starts storing that fat to protect your organs. I mean, most of the time, a lot of times, where do we gain weight first? Right here in our stomach. What's it protecting? Our organs. So.
Yeah, you got great perspective there. And so with people maybe coming into prep cakes and trying these healthy foods, but also it tastes really good, do you notice, or do you hear from your customers that they're actually maybe changing their habits, or maybe trying to, I don't know, make their own at-home healthy version as well? Do you notice that?
So that's kind of why, okay, so most of the time, us as chefs keep our recipes secret, right? It's my proprietary information. What I've learned is people don't want to do what we do.
Right,
you know, they don't want to go out and spend $120 on ingredients to make 12 protein specialty bars and then have all the rest in their pantry later on. So I'm learning that sharing our recipes actually could be a good thing, because people can still learn from it and can apply when they want to, but you're not going to lose your customers because you shared. But we have a lot of our customers are return customers, and there's still a lot of people that don't even know about us. My MBA was in marketing, and so I truly believe in guerrilla marketing and word of mouth. I don't pay for paid ads very often, so my marketing budget is normally cut very low, because I believe that brand building should be word of mouth and like results from it. So I have a great example. We have tons of people that have lost weight eating our desserts. But we had a lady at Christmas, and her husband went off their eating plan for 2 weeks. And so he ate whatever he wanted, like in breads and this and that. And every day, like she would eat, but she ate one of our cinnamon rolls, and they're pretty big. You know, one of our cinnamon rolls every single day. And he gained like 15 pounds in that 2 weeks, and she lost 10.
Wow.
That's amazing.
Yeah, because she just wasn't
December,
taking
too.
in all this excess calories. And as I know you know, people just don't understand caloric deficits, you know? And so when it comes to diets, it's like, yeah, you're gonna lose weight, but it's because you're cutting out a major macronutrient you need and all those calories. And then let's say you're inserting a fat. Well, there's 9 calories per fat gram. So not everything keto is great for you. You know, I'd rather people eat healthy and whole choices.
Right.
But like I said, some people need diets just like they need a coach or they need a doctor.
structure,
Yeah,
yeah.
they need structure. And that's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. So what would you say is your most popular items at the bakery?
Oh, goodness. Our cinnamon rolls.
Okay. I was like, that's, I've not seen
Yeah,
or tried
cinnamon
those.
rolls, our strudels are very popular. Our no-bake cheesecakes have been around for a very long time. That was one of my original items. Those are really good. It's like a thicker pudding mousse, but it is a macro meal. And so a lot of people eat those. But I would say pretty much everything, but our cinnamon rolls, they fly off the shelves. I mean, but how can you argue with that big of a cinnamon roll that tastes better than Cinnabon, and it only has like 126 calories
Yeah,
and
you
like
can't beat
3
that.
net carbs in it? Like, you can't beat it.
Right.
can't.
Yeah.
And you buy in bulk if someone wanted to buy, you know, a bunch of cinnamon, like a dozen at a time. Do
Oh
they do, you
yeah,
do that?
yeah. We always welcome that. We also do catering. So
nice.
if any place ever needs catering, we do that. I am a full line-to-line chef. And Wednesdays we do our pizza day. So we do a low-carb and a gluten-free pizza. And then on Thursdays, every other Thursday, I do some sort of casserole. So I'll do like a low-carb enchilada or a lasagna. And that way I kind of get my cooking out there a little bit, even though I prefer the baking side.
Yeah.
The cooking is definitely there, and that's what I did the most of in the military. But I really want to showcase those items more or less for the catering side to show people that things can be catered, but also to teach people how to eat throughout the day, because desserts aren't supposed to be every single meal.
Right,
You
right,
know?
yeah.
So it's like, okay, I'm missing the mark a little bit right now. And so that's what I started to do with the lunches.
Gotcha. Yeah, no, that's great. And it's great for people to come in and maybe try, like I came in the other day, got a sandwich, and I tried your little cannolis.
Yeah.
And so you're able to try both.
Yes.
You know, the best of both worlds.
Which sandwich did you get?
The chicken
Ah,
on a jalapeno cheddar, which let's talk about the bread really
Okay.
quickly.
It's good, huh?
It's great.
I know.
I was so full and satisfied. You know, I had to like eat half at a time because I was
It's
so
so
full.
filling.
Yeah. So tell us about the bread, because you sell the buns individually, or you can buy them a variety pack even.
Yes, so we sell the buns by 3 per pack. Everything in our bakery can be frozen, so
Okay.
that's the great thing. But we sell the buns. We make all of our buns fresh daily. We make fresh bread daily. We make croissants. We have pita chips. We have a lot of dough items available there as well. And then we created that sandwich menu because we didn't have a healthy spot. And while we do have a lot of great meal prep in town, we have, you know, Jessica with Glow Alchemy, and then like Megan with prepped up meals. So there's a lot of those choices, but there was nowhere we could ever stop in if you were on a healthy eating plan.
Right.
And so I wanted Prep Cakes to be that place. Like, let me make you something that can fit in your macros.
Especially like that day, I forgot my lunch, and I was like, oh, and I had
Yes.
15 minutes for lunch, so for
Yeah.
a break to just run over.
That's the thing. Like, you have to have a healthy option, because
Yeah.
maybe sometimes you are in a bind and you don't have something healthy,
Right.
and then you don't want to end up at one of
Yeah.
the burger places.
Yeah.
And, yeah, I think it's perfect.
I used to chew and spit.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I just wanted to eat a cheeseburger so bad.
Oh my God.
And I wasn't
okay.
allowed to. Don't tell David. Well, he probably knows now. But I would like go through a drive-through and I'd chew on it, and then I'd spit it in the bag because I totally cheated on my meal plan sometimes.
Oh my gosh! Well, yeah, and it's funny because you're right across the street from Whataburger. So
I know.
It's like a decision. To
But I knew I
make today.
couldn't eat it, you know. And I was like, but like Arena said, like there's nowhere to go for
Right.
healthy options, you know, and that's unfortunate because a lot of times like we eat what's in front of us because we
Right.
don't have the choice.
Yeah, no,
That's
it's
why we
very
need you in
true.
our community. So we really do.
Well, we have just about 45 seconds left, so tell us, where can we find you, social media, where you're located, and if somebody's interested in. checking you out.
Oh, well, thank you. My website is prepcakesbakery.com. You could just put prepcakes.com. It will redirect you. You can find us on Instagram and on Facebook. We're primarily very active on Facebook. And we are at 504 East Kings Highway, right across from Broadmoor Garage.
All right. Well, great. Well, this is very informative and insightful, and definitely want to prioritize the things that we talked about today. Thanks, guys. Shed It and Prep Cakes for being here.
Yes,
Thank you.
Thank you.
This will be on our website, ktbs.com/podcast.